completely honest in anything I'm going through in life and share with you guys. Just to let people know that I deal with everyday struggles just as everybody else, and not cookie cutter things. So, just a little backstory. I was originally born in New York, Queens to be exact, and now I am located in Orlando, well, in the Florida area. I did live in Orlando for a little bit, and then Gainesville, and now I'm in St. Pete. I grew up in a small town north of Lakeland. So yeah, that's a little backstory about where I'm from. So growing up, my mom had me, and the father of my father, my biological father, decided that he wasn't ready to be a father at that time, which I understand. They were both young. It happened quickly. Their relationship never really blossomed to anything, and I was a product of that. So that's that. So then years later, not even years, months later, my mom met my father that I call now dad, and they remarried, and I was born into this world, and I've only known him as my father, and I am 28 years old. So recently I wanted to reach out to my biological father and get to know who he actually is and his roots. So I started that process over a year ago. I reached out, Googled his name, found people that he's in contact with on Facebook, and it went from there. I talked to some people that did not know I exist, which is understandable, and like I said, I don't have any hard feelings about them not knowing. They were both young when they decided, or when my mom decided to have me, and that was that. So after that, I talked to a few cousins here and there and explained the situation, explained who I am, explained what I was looking for, and that was that. They were nice. We touched base once in a while, but I never really got to talk to my biological dad. So I kind of let that die down and figured, well, if I'm reaching out to him and he's not responding, then maybe he does not want to have a part of my life, and I can respect that. Like, let's be honest, he never reached out before, and it is what it is. So today I was actually driving to go meet a friend, to go to the beach and just have a good time, and behold, I got a phone call from a strange number, and that number actually happened to be my biological dad. So at this moment, I'm picking up the phone, I'm in the car, hands-free, and I'm trying to find my way around this city because like I said, I'm new here. I haven't been here that long, and it's a Sunday and the beaches are crowded. So he picks up, he explains who he is, and I'm just, at this point, I was just in shock that he actually called. Like, I wasn't mad, I wasn't angry, I was grateful, but I was in shock. Like, I've wanted to know who this person was for a long time, and for the longest time I thought that that wasn't an option, and I was finally okay with it. Like, I wanted to attempt and try one more time to see, hey, maybe if I don't get to know him, maybe if I have any siblings, I would at least like to know them. And that's basically it. Like, just build a bond with other people that share the same bloodline as me. So behold, like I said, he called. We talked for a very brief moment. It was awkward but nice at the same time. Like, I was still in shock, and meanwhile I'm still driving in a town that I don't know, looking for parking that I cannot find at this point, and I'm just like trying to process in my head everything that's going on in that situation. The person I'm talking to actually helped create me, and even though I know that he wasn't ready at that time to be a father, now he wants to have a relationship, which is great, and I'm not knocking him for having a relationship. I respect him. I do want to have a relationship, but at the state of moment, I was just in shock. Like, okay, this is really happening. I'm driving. I have nobody with me I support to even talk to about this, and it's a lot to deal with. And if that's just what I'm going to be honest with, it was a lot. And my first question on his side, it was like, okay, I understand that you didn't know me and you watched me grow up. He did watch me grow up. Long story short, my mom and my biological dad lived in the same building. So he saw me come home, he saw me come to school, go to school, he saw me go to daycare. He knew who I was, but at that point I was a baby, so I really did not know who he was. He was just another neighbor. So that being said, eventually my mom and my the guy I call dad now. They eventually moved to a different area in New York, had my sister, which I'm grateful for. She's a great sister, and our lives moved on, and I always knew him as a person, as my dad. Years later, my mom did tell me the truth, like he is not my biological dad, but at the end of the day, he still was the person that stepped up to the plate and actually tried to take care of me. We don't have that great of a relationship now, not because of any hostile feelings, just because when you grow up with somebody that is not your biological dad, even though they try so much, you could still feel like there's something missing. Like they may love you and care for you, but there's not that spark, that connection. And as I got older, I started realizing, like, yes, he's my sister's dad, and yes, I do recognize him as my dad, but our relationship is not the same, because at the end of the day, he just is not my biological dad. And that's okay. Like, I'm grateful for the things he has done. I'm grateful that when I call him, he's there, and I would never take from that. But at the same time, there was still a piece of me that was missing, and I wanted to discover who I was a part of and where I come from, besides my mom's side of the family. So as I said that, like I said, I got older and our relationship became a little strained, and we talk here and there, but it's still not the same. And that's not his fault and that's not my fault. It's just how life is. When you get older and you're mature and you realize that, hey, they were there for me, and I acknowledge that, and I commend him for doing the things he has, but I was still missing that little piece of me that I wanted to know about. Like, I wanted to know if I had brothers. I wanted to know how they grew up. I wanted to know if I looked like them, who I looked like, where did I get my height from. Like, those are the things I wanted to know that were not really answered the way I wanted to get the answer. So we're today, and like I said, I get the strange phone call from a number I do not know. I pick up and it's him. And his first response is, "Hey, is this Courtney?" And I said, "Yes." That's my first name, obviously. He said, "Yes, this is her." He says, "Do you know, let's say, Billy Bob?" I'm not going to put his personal name out there because, like I said, I don't really know him like that. And I say, okay. And he says, "Well, I heard that you were looking for Billy Bob." And I said, "Yeah, I was looking for him." And he says, "Well, what's your connection to him?" And I explained, "Well, I know of him. I just don't know him personally. I know of him because he is my biological dad. And I was just trying to reach out to see if I can talk to him or just get to know him, anything like that." And he says, "Okay, well, that's understandable. I am Billy Bob." And my whole demeanor and I felt like my stomach had sank. And I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to hold it together. I'm trying to drive. I'm trying to watch the GPS. And in my mind is racing. Like, I picked up to the phone to the person I've always wondered about. He's always been a question mark in my head. And now I'm actually talking to him. So my thought was, okay, I need to find a place to pull over and collect my thoughts. I don't want to sound weak. I don't want to sound emotional. But I also want to understand the other side. Because like I said, there are always two sides to every story. What my mom has said has been one story. What he may say may be another. And then you have your grandparents that tell you what they persuade or what they think happened. But nobody knows what those two people. And my perspective of things, I'm not here to question about what happened or what did not happen. I just want to simply know who that missing person in my life is and why were they missing for so long. So then we sit there and talk, and then I find out that I do have two older brothers. Well, I'm sorry, I am the oldest. I have a younger brothers, I should say. They're 28 and then apparently 17 or 18. So I'm like, okay, that's nice to know that I, number one, am the only girl, and number two, they are behind me. Do I know if they know anything about me? I have no clue. I did not get to ask. And like I said, I was at that state in mind. I was driving and trying to focus on the road and understand what he's saying so I can process it the right way and not turn it into a negative thing. So then I get off the phone and I'm just like, okay, can I call you back later? Can we touch base later? He says, yes, anytime. I say, okay, thank you. Thank you for reaching out. And I hang up the phone. My immediate first thought was, okay, if I have a brother that is 27 years old and I am 28 years old, that means a year after I was born, you were ready to be a father. Which, like I said, a lot of things can happen in a year, and I understand that, and I'm not taking from him. I would never bash him or any way, but my thing is, if you could have your son be in his life, be active, all that good jazz, which is great. I would never want any child to be raised without a father or always questioned like I was. Why didn't you reach out? That's my question. Like, why was I not important enough to say, hey, you do have a daughter. Is she still alive? Is she still kicking? Is she eating? Is she hungry? Is she cold? That is my question. And I don't want to come off rude. I don't want to come off mad. I don't want to come off ungrateful for the people that have been in my life. But at the same time, I just want to know, why was I not good enough then? Even if it wasn't like, even if you waited 5 or 6 years to reach out, even if you're waiting until I was 18 to reach out and you had other kids, I feel like once you had other kids, you decided to be in their life, you should at least check base to see if the one that you decided not to have or not to be a part of their life was okay. So those are the questions I simply have for that person. And hopefully one day soon, when I next talk to them, I can ask them in a way that doesn't come off rude, but still get my answers done. So like I said, YouTube, I am an open book. That is something I'm dealing with right now. It was a shock to me to deal with. I was completely speechless when it came to picking up the phone today and hearing my father's voice for the first time. I don't know if anybody else can relate to anything like that. I know a lot of people have this stereotype that Black women don't know who their dad is and blah blah blah, which, hey, I'm not here to pass judgment. I did not know mine, but I was fortunate enough to have a person that stepped in that role, and I'm always going to be thankful for that person. But I do want to know the other side of the family that I don't know, and hopefully in the coming years that is something I can achieve and get to know. But like I said, that's a work in progress. I have to learn how to say what I want to say without coming off harsh and ungrateful. Because at the end of the day, I'm grateful for everything I have. I'm grateful for all the people that are in my life. And I'm just grateful for the fact that he may not have wanted to be a father at that time, but he never stared my mom and told her she had only one option. He let her to decide, and she decided to have me, and I'm grateful for that. And I will always be grateful for that. But as part of me will still always wonder, like, if he was there, how would my life have turned? Would I have done different things in life? Would I be a different person? Or was I destined to be the person I am now, regardless of the situation? So, like I said, this is a very personal video, and I hope you guys understand what I'm going through and help me through this and give me some input of what you're dealing with. But thank you again for taking the time to watch my channel, and I hope you guys come along with the journey to see where everything develops in my life and leads me. Again, my name is Courtney Janai, and thank you so much for taking the time out. I hope you hit that subscribe button, hit a like for your girl, because I really do need that. And thank you so much. Goodbye.